Welcome back to Building Better Vocabulary for IELTS, everyone. It's amazing to see so many of you back with us as we dig even deeper into the world of IELTS vocabulary.
You got it.
And, hitting that band 9 score, it's no walk in the park, right?
It really isn't.
Vocabulary can make or break your score, and we're here to make sure you're breaking through to those higher bands.
Absolutely.
Today, we're focusing on something super specific, but super powerful.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Choosing the right synonym for expensive. Yeah, because just saying expensive all the time, it doesn't really, make your answers sparkle.
No, it doesn't quite cut it for a band 9, does it?
Not really. So we've got some band 9 answers lined up to a classic IELTS question. Get ready to hear how those top scorers chose their words carefully to create some seriously impressive responses.
I love breaking down these answers, and seeing exactly how those subtle word choices can make such a big difference.
Totally. It's about more than just memorizing a bunch of synonyms. It's about understanding which one fits the feeling, the situation you're describing.
Absolutely. Like a word can paint a picture, can't it? And you want to make sure you're choosing the right colors for the scene you're setting.
Exactly. And the IELTS examiners, they're looking for that precision in your language.
They are.
So the question we're tackling today is a pretty common one. Describe a time when you bought something expensive and explain why you decided to purchase it.
Okay.
Classic.
Yeah.
And the answers we've got, they're top-notch.
Well, let's hear them. I'm all ears.
Okay. Here's our first band 9 answer.
Yeah.
I recently bought a pricey designer handbag as a birthday gift for myself. It definitely cost a fortune, but I wanted something that would be a lasting item, both in quality and style. Although the handbag was pricey, I saw it as an investment in a timeless piece that would enhance my wardrobe for years to come. The craftsmanship and durability convinced me that it was worth the extra cost.
Okay.
All right, what jumps out at you here in terms of word choice?
Well, right away, that pricey it sets the tone perfectly, doesn't it? It's like the speaker is, kind of letting us in on a little secret, a little splurge, a little treat. And it doesn't scream like, reckless spending.
Right.
But rather like a thoughtful indulgence.
Yes.
Especially because they talk about it as being a lasting item and an investment.
Totally. It's expensive, but in a way that feels justified.
Yes.
And even a bit celebratory.
Yeah. A little treat yourself moment.
Exactly. And those phrases definitely cost a fortune and worth the extra cost. They add this personal touch, like we're right there with the speaker kind of weighing the pros and cons of this fabulous handbag.
Absolutely. The whole answer really paints this picture of someone who values quality in style. Someone who's willing to spend a little bit more for something that'll bring them joy for years to come. It's strategic, It shows the IELTS examiner, hey, I can describe a situation, I can justify my decision, and I'm using vocabulary that just matches that situation perfectly.
That's it, showing you have command over the language.
Exactly.
Okay, you ready for our next band 9 answer? This one uses the synonym costly.
Okay, hit me with it.
A few months ago, I made a costly purchase when I decided to upgrade my laptop to a high-end model. This machine was a major expense, but I work with heavy software daily, so I needed a device that could handle demanding tasks smoothly. Although the laptop was costly, I chose it for its reliability and performance, knowing it would improve my productivity and save me time in the long run. For my work, it felt like a necessary investment. So this answer, it feels different, doesn't it? Costly, it carries a different weight than pricey, don't you think?
It does. Costly just has this sense of seriousness to it. It's like the speaker is acknowledging that this was a big decision. And you get the feeling that, they didn't take this purchase lightly.
Yes, exactly.
But just like with pricey, they justify the expense. This time, though, it's all about practicality and necessity. It's for their work.
And that's where that major expense comes in.
Oh, yeah.
It really drives home the point that this wasn't just a casual purchase.
Absolutely. It wasn't an impulse buy.
Right.
This was a carefully considered investment. And, they even use that word investment, which, strengthens that idea that this purchase is going to benefit them in the long run.
Totally. Okay, so we've seen how pricey suggests a more, like a lighthearted indulgence, while costly conveys a sense of seriousness and practicality. Now let's jump into our third band 9 answer, which uses high-priced. Ready for this one?
I am, yeah.
All right. I remember purchasing a high-priced watch as a graduation gift to myself. It's something I wanted for years, and I saved up specifically for it. This watch was certainly a luxury item, symbolizing my achievements and representing all the hard work I had put into my studies. Although it was a significant expense, I felt it held sentimental value, making the purchase much more meaningful.
Yeah.
What's your take on high price here?
High price, it oozes sophistication, doesn't it?
It does.
We're not talking about everyday items here.
Right.
This word choice, it immediately conjures up those images of something luxurious, exclusive, maybe even, aspirational.
And it fits perfectly with the idea of a graduation gift.
Right.
Like a reward for all that hard work, a symbol of accomplishment.
Exactly. And they even say it symbolizes their achievements, represents all their hard work. That's not something you'd associate with, a cheap or ordinary item.
No.
High-priced elevates the watch to a whole new level, making it more than just a timepiece.
It becomes a statement piece.
Yeah.
A tangible representation of their success.
Yeah.
And that phrase, significant expense, that reinforces that this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment purchase.
Right.
It was a planned, deliberate decision to invest in something meaningful.
Exactly. The speaker understood the cost, but they felt it was justified by the sentimental value attached to that watch.
Yes.
This answer shows that you can use high price to talk about something luxurious, something special, but also to convey a sense of personal meaning and accomplishment.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered pricey, costly, high-priced, all describing expensive things, but with such different vibes. Are you ready for our final Band 9 answer?
Bring it on. Let's hear it.
Okay, here we go. And this one uses the synonym overpriced. A few years back, I bought a pair of designer shoes that turned out to be quite overpriced. They looked fantastic, but honestly, they weren't worth the arm and a leg I paid. I quickly realized that I was paying more for the brand than for quality or comfort. While I don't regret the purchase completely, I came to understand that sometimes brand names lead to overpriced products, and it made me more cautious about luxury purchases in the future. All right, let's unpack overpriced. What does it bring to the table that our other synonyms haven't?
Ooh, overpriced is interesting because it immediately introduces a critical perspective. It suggests that the speaker feels a bit duped, like they didn't get their money's worth.
Yes. And that phrase, weren't worth the arm and a leg I paid.
I love that.
So relatable, right?
Yes.
We've all been there, tempted by a brand name, only to realize later that maybe it wasn't the best decision.
Yeah, we've all been there. And, it adds a touch of humor and self-awareness. And it also shows the examiner that you can use those idiomatic expressions naturally and effectively.
It does. I love how the speaker acknowledges that they don't regret the purchase completely,
Right.
but they learned a valuable lesson. Overpriced isn't just about complaining.
It's not.
It's about reflecting on a purchasing decision and using it to become a more discerning consumer.
Absolutely. It shows a level of maturity and self-awareness that the IELTS examiners, they'll really appreciate that. And it demonstrates that you can use vocabulary to, convey complex emotions and thoughts, not just describe objects or situations.
So we've explored 4 fantastic Band 9 answers, each using a different synonym for expensive, pricey, costly, high-priced, and overpriced. And what we've seen is that each synonym, it paints a unique picture, conveying different emotions, different justifications, and even different levels of buyer's remorse.
It's amazing how much power one single word can have.
Isn't it?
It really is.
Now, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be diving into 4 more incredible Band 9 answers.
Oh, okay.
Each with its own unique synonym for expensive. So stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're ready for 4 more incredible Band 9 answers, each showcasing a different way to say expensive, beyond just pricey and costly.
Yeah, because the IELTS, it isn't just about, memorizing synonyms, right? It's about using them, with style, with intention.
Oh, absolutely. It's like you want to show those examiners that, you really understand those subtleties, the nuances of the English language.
It's about painting that picture with your words and knowing how to choose those perfect shades to evoke those, the right emotion.
Exactly, to create the right impressions.
So remember that IELTS question we've been analyzing. Describe a time when you bought something expensive and explain why you decided to purchase it. Remember, these answers, they're all Band 9 worthy. They're demonstrating that mastery of, vocabulary, but also storytelling.
I'm excited to hear them.
Okay, here's our first Band 9 answer for this segment, and it uses the synonym dear. Last year, I decided to invest in a deer antique writing desk that I had been admiring for quite some time. It was a rather extravagant purchase, but I fell in love with its intricate carvings and rich history. Although it was dear, I felt it would add a touch of elegance and sophistication to my home office, creating an inspiring space for writing. It's a piece I know I will treasure for many years to come. So what are your initial impressions of deer in this context, and how does it work with the rest of the answer?
You know, deer just has this lovely, almost nostalgic quality to it, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Like it hints at something precious, something with sentimental value, not just, a high price tag.
Yeah.
It's not just about the cost. It's about like a deeper connection
Yeah.
to the item itself, And the speaker, they even call the purchase extravagant, but then they quickly justify it.
Talking about the desk's beauty, the history, and how it's, how it'll make their home office feel more inspiring.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of, how choosing that right synonym can paint a more nuanced picture.
Yes.
Imagine if they had just said expensive instead of dear. It wouldn't have that same emotional impact or a sense of, lasting value.
It'd sound a bit flat, wouldn't it?
It would.
Like, oh, I bought an expensive desk.
Yeah.
But deer just tells us so much more.
Yeah.
It's more than just furniture. It's a treasured possession.
It really is. And it shows that, that the speaker can use language, in a sophisticated way,
Yeah.
in an evocative way. It gives us a little window into their personality, their values.
Okay, let's move on to our next Band 9 answer. And this one uses a word that definitely grabs your attention. Here's the answer. For my honeymoon, we splurged on an exorbitant stay at a luxurious overwater bungalow in the Maldives. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, with breathtaking ocean views, private plunge pools, and unparalleled service. While the cost was exorbitant, we felt it was justified for such a special occasion. We wanted to create memories that would last a lifetime, and this trip certainly lived up to our expectations.
What's fascinating about this answer is how the speaker just owns that extravagance.
They do. They're not shying away from the fact that, this honeymoon was expensive, even using that word splurged. But that's where exorbitant comes in. It just takes it to another level.
It's like saying, yes, this was way beyond the average honeymoon budget, but let me tell you why it was worth every penny.
Exactly. And they do a fantastic job at, at justifying that cost. They paint this picture of this incredible, unforgettable experience. Breathtaking ocean views, private plunge pools, unparalleled serve, all those things that just, make up that once-in-a-lifetime honeymoon experience. They even say, we wanted to create memories that would last a lifetime, which emphasizes that emotional value of the trip and why they were willing to spend so much.
It's smart because they're showing the examiner, hey, I can describe a situation, I can justify my decision, and I'm using language that is both descriptive and persuasive.
All right, okay. Let's shift gears a bit with our next Band 9 answer.
Okay. Yeah.
This one uses the word steep, which has a slightly different feel to it than exorbitant. Here's the answer. As a photography enthusiast, I recently invested in a SEEP professional-grade camera lens that significantly enhanced my work. It was a hefty price to pay, but I knew it would elevate my photography to new heights. The lens's superior optics and versatility allowed me to capture stunning images with incredible detail and clarity. While the cost was steep, I saw it as an investment in my passion and a tool that would pay off in the long run. Now, steep doesn't sound quite as, over the top as exorbitant.
It doesn't, and I think that's because steep is often used to describe a significant increase in price or something that's just more expensive than you were expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, like a curveball expense, maybe.
Exactly. Like, whoa, that's a lot more than I thought it would be.
Right, but just like with exorbitant, the speaker justifies the cost. They talk about how the lens, will enhance their work, elevate their photography, allow them to capture those stunning images.
It's not just about, owning an expensive gadget.
Right.
It's about that value that it brings to their work.
So steep employs a significant investment, but one that's driven by passion, a desire to improve their craft.
Absolutely. And they explicitly call it, an investment in their passion, a tool that will pay off in the long run. Again, showing that examiner that, I can think critically about my purchases and I can articulate those reasons behind them.
Okay, we've got one more Band 9 answer for this segment, and this one uses a word we often associate with luxury: premium.
Okay.
Here's the answer. For my recent birthday, I treated myself to a premium pair of noise-canceling headphones. They were a bit of a splurge, but I had been wanting them for ages to improve my listening experience. The headphones' exceptional sound quality and comfortable fit made them worth the premium price. Now I can fully immerse myself in my music or podcasts without any distractions. So what stands out to you about this answer, particularly the use of premium?
What I love about premium is that it just immediately conveys a sense of quality,
Yes.
and exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests that the speaker was looking for the best of the best, even if it meant spending a bit more.
It's not just expensive, it's like worth the premium price.
Exactly. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And they highlight the exceptional sound quality, the comfortable fit.
Yes.
Justifying the splurge by emphasizing that enhanced listening experience.
Fully immerse myself.
Yeah.
It paints a picture of someone who really values their music, their podcasts.
Yeah.
They're not just listening passively. They're seeking a more like immersive and enjoyable experience.
Exactly.
And I like how they also acknowledge that it was, a bit of a splurge.
Mm-hmm.
It shows a little bit of self-awareness, a sense of humor, maybe even.
It does. It adds that, that personal touch. It's like they're, inviting us into their world, sharing their passion for music, their willingness to invest in a product that enhances their enjoyment.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this segment, exploring how dear, exorbitant, steep, and premium can all describe, expensive purchases.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've seen is that choosing the right synonym can just add that depth, that nuance, that touch of personality even
Absolutely.
to your IELTS answers.
Welcome back to our final part of this deep dive into better vocabulary. And those Band 9 answers we just heard? Really impressive.
They were right. It's so clear that those test takers really put a lot of thought into choosing just the right word, to express their experiences.
Yeah, and justify those purchases too. Not just saying expensive, but really thinking about what kind of expensive it was,
Exactly, and that's what we really want you, our listeners, to take away from today's episode. It's not about memorizing a whole bunch of synonyms, just to throw them in randomly. It's about understanding how those words work within a larger context.
Mm-hmm.
And using them strategically to make your IELTS responses, really shine.
It's about making those examiners sit up and take notice.
Exactly. So remember that IELTS question that we've been analyzing?
Oh, the classic one.
Describe a time when you bought something expensive and explain why you decided to purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how you would answer that question. What kind of purchase would you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Would it be a spontaneous splurge, something pricey, or maybe a carefully considered investment, something, truly costly?
Or even something, high price to celebrate a special occasion.
Ooh, or maybe even a cautionary tale about something overpriced.
Oh, those are always good stories.
They are. And don't forget about those less common but equally impactful synonyms we explored in the last segment. Dear, exorbitant, steep, even premium. Each of those has its own unique flavor.
Mm-hmm.
They can really add a touch of sophistication to your vocabulary, Think about how you could use those words. A treasured antique, a luxurious honeymoon.
A passion project even.
Ooh, yes, or a splurge on those, those really high-quality headphones.
Exactly. The key is to choose the synonym that really captures the essence of your purchase, the message you want to convey. Are you justifying a big expense? Are you highlighting that emotional value? Maybe you're sharing a lesson learned. It's all about the context.
It is. You have all these tools now at your disposal. So get creative, experiment with different word choices, and see how they can transform your answers from good to exceptional.
Because using synonyms effectively, it's not just about passing the IELTS. It's about gaining that deeper understanding of the language.
And becoming a more confident and articulate communicator overall.
Right, exactly. And that's a skill that will benefit you far beyond any exam.
It will. So as you keep preparing for your IELTS, keep exploring, keep playing with those nuances of vocabulary, and see how it can really elevate your speaking skills. Pay attention to the words you use, even in everyday conversation. Challenge yourself to try out some new synonyms.
Have fun with it.
Exactly. The more you play with language, the more natural and expressive you'll become.
It's true.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into synonyms. We hope you've gained some valuable insights today.
And feel inspired to elevate your vocabulary.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the world of language.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, happy practicing.
Keep those words flowing.